Topic for today is MyQ Credit Accounting. So we're going to start out by looking at several challenge statements. For example, my customer wants X. We're going to look at 4 of those and how we can solve them today using this feature of MyQ. If you have questions along the way, please put them into the Q&A window. That just helps keep things sorted out for me. Makes it very easy to follow those up at the end. When we finish the demonstration portion today, we're going to have a little review quiz, as always. With that review quiz, top 3 participants, we will make a donation to a charity of your choice. So make sure to pay attention during the session and watch for some clues along the way that'll help you during that quiz. So without further ado, let's look at some of our challenges for today. Challenge number 1. My customer would like end users to prepay for output. That is the true core function of the credit accounting feature. So let's think about a library, for example. That's where this most often occurs for me. Sometimes, as well as what I call co-working spaces, where folks can go in and rent an office for today. Sometimes they want to bill them first up front, or sometimes they bill them afterwards in the arrears. But I'm going to go with the library example today. Most of us at some experience in our life have gone into a library. Coin-op stations there, not really efficient. Folks struggle with using sometimes. So that's the next challenge. My customer wants to move away, excuse me, a small typo there. My customer wants to move away from making change for end users and dealing with external coin-op stations. I always tell folks, the library is not a bank. They're not there to make change for you, nor do the staff of the library want to be dealing with money making change. So we're going to look at some options today. We are not going entirely cashless. I know that is a hot topic for some folks. So we're going to show you 2 different ways with how MyQ can handle folks who still would like to operate on a cash basis, as well as for folks who are going to go with a more digital credit or debit style. So we're going to look at that challenge. Third challenge. My customer would like a hands-off method for users to submit jobs and fund their accounts. They don't want to be involved with it. They want the end users to manage it, start to finish themselves. We're going to look at a method for that. Last challenge. My customer only wants the public or external users to pre-fund their account for their output. So internal, your colleagues, your co-workers should not be affected by the credit method. Only folks who are external to your organizations should be affected by the credit method. Great feature of MyQ or across the MyQ platform. I always tell folks there's 6 ways and a half a dozen other to accomplish something. When you, our partners, call me and say, hey, Robbie, can MyQ do this? Well, I generally already know, yes or no, it can do that. I often follow up with another question to your question. That way I can understand exactly what the user's trying to do so that I know which of those 6 ways or half dozen other I need to guide us towards to solve that challenge. So here's the 4 we're going to look at today. Again, my customer would like end users to prepay for their output. They don't want to make change. Your customer is not a bank. They want a hands-off approach. They want the user to be able to do the whole process start to finish, and then they only want it to apply to the external users. So let me stop my screen share. Got to move a few things around here. And this is where we're going to go on a field trip today. Hope everyone enjoyed field trips when they were in school. I did. We should do more field trips as work individuals, I think. I guess that's what they call the employee bonding or the team outings. So today, we are going to the Library of Congress. I figured if I was going to use a library as an example, I should use one of the most popular or most predominantly known libraries in the United States. So the Library of Congress. We're all loading up in a bus. We're going to the library today. We get to the library and I need to print something out. I need to make a copy of something. So how can we do that in a hands-off method? Well, if we walk up to the device, So here's my device. This is my MFP at home, or in this case, this is an MFP at the Library of Congress that we walk up to. It's locked. I need to unlock this device. I have to unlock it in order to make a copy or to make a print. So how can I do this in a hands-off fashion? Okay, so let's all pretend, again, we're at the Library of Congress together. We got on the bus, we loaded up, we're there, we're standing in front of the copier, we're all scratching our heads saying, what do we do? Well, above the copier, the library has this sign, this poster. Now, I'm no graphics artist. I created this earlier today to prove the point that we're making. Obviously, they would have something much more visually appealing. But they have a note up that says, to submit a print job. Okay, I need to do that. This applies to me. I can email a PDF, a Microsoft Office file, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or an image, a TIFF or a JPEG, to this address. Now, this would obviously be a Library of Congress address that they have on their flyer. For my demo today, I'm using an address that I created, myqx.demo@gmail.com. I have taught or instructed my MyQ server to check that email address. So it is checking it actually every 20 seconds. And what it does, it says, does this user have a MyQ account? And if I do not, it will create a MyQ account for me and email me back a PIN number. So let's do that. I get out my laptop. I saw that message on the screen, myqx.demo@gmail.com, and I attach a PDF to it, one of our new pieces of collateral, the top 11 reasons, because 10's not enough. You need 11 reasons of why you should be using MyQ. I'm going to send that email. Now, we have to wait somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 seconds because that's how long we've set it. We don't want to check the email address repetitively over and over. But we look at the rest of this document. It says, before releasing your job, you must add funds to your new copier account. And it lists two ways for me. It says, for cash transactions, you may purchase a voucher at the circulation desk. Okay. For credit or debit card payments, please follow the link included in the email you received to access the web portal of our printing solution to add funds to your account. Pretty self-explanatory. So at this point, I'm not engaged with anyone from the library. I've submitted my job. I'm waiting to get my PIN number back. Okay. Now maybe I need to interface with somebody from the library to receive a voucher if I want to operate in a cash manner. So MyQ has the ability to print vouchers. Vouchers are like stamps. These are worth currency. So here I've printed off 5 of these. It's got a customizable label on here. This is the XYZ library. Please return your book on time. All of these vouchers are for $1. They are valid until the end of May. We can have them expire if we wish or not. It just depends. Based on their preference, maybe they're worried about somebody picking up a stack of them, running away, something like that, or we can always invalidate them later. But you'll see each voucher also has a unique code, like a serial number, for example. I made mine numeric. This could be alphanumeric. I can control how many characters. I added the hyphens in there. So let's say if I'm going to operate in a cash manner, I walk up with a $1 bill, or 4 quarters, or 10 dimes, or whatever gets me to $1. I hand that dollar over to someone at the library circulation desk, and they hand me back this voucher. So this is my way of addressing the making change issue. Yes, we are still dealing with money. Money is moving back and forth. Coins are currency, dollars are dollar bills. But in this instance, they are buying a whole denomination value. So they come up with $1, they get a $1 voucher. If they need $2, well, then they would buy 2 $1 vouchers. We could create vouchers for $5, for $10, for $20, $50, $100, however we want to do it, but they're whole values. So that is what we're exchanging with folks who want to operate in a in a cash style environment. Now, I just got my email back. Let me open that up and show it to you guys. New copier account. Hello, Robbie Morris at MyQ Solution. we have created an account for you to unlock the copy devices. This gives them their PIN number. If we're using badges, I can tap a badge to register a badge so I can log into the device. If we're using print and follow, this is a template email that I have when I do new installations of MyQ. So this would obviously be customized to the Library of Congress for what they want their users to see and interface with. But on that page we had above the copier where it said you can log into the web interface to add funds to your account. Well, here's my username and my PIN number, 4295. So let me come over here. I'm actually already logged in. Let me log out of MyQ. So voucher, that was one way to add funds to my account. I'm going to log in here, Morris 4259. I think that was my number. Nope, got it wrong. 4295. Whoops. 4295. So this could be a computer in the library, a public workstation they have, or maybe if I join the Wi-Fi network, I connect to it. So now I'm logged in and I see these different widgets. If I wanted to scan to cloud storage, I could connect to my different cloud storages. I could submit a job from a web page. But what I need to do is add some additional funds to my account. So here we see I actually already have $1. This is where I was doing some testing earlier today. But if I press this recharge credit button, it'll ask me for a voucher. So I could type in the code of that voucher. We can also accept payments from a credit or debit card. PayPal, for example. So the Library of Congress, they set up a merchant account with PayPal. They can set a minimum value. You know, some folks want a minimum $5 credit card transaction, you know, because of the credit card fees they have to pay. So you can set that when you're doing a credit or debit style transaction. There are a few other providers. I just picked PayPal because most folks know PayPal. So now I've got my credit or debit card in my hand. I want to purchase $1.27 if I want to be really unique about it. When I press recharge credit, it would open the PayPal payment gateway. So I can put in my credit, my debit card. I don't have to have a PayPal account. They're just the processor. Now, I don't have a PayPal merchant account set up, so I'm not going to show you this part. If I click this button, it's just not going to do anything. But to the end user, that would be the next step. They would click recharge credit. It would open a PayPal window. They would put in their details, and then it would apply that payment, assuming their credit card is valid, their debit card is valid. It would apply that amount to their account. Now, that's one way for a user to add the funds to their account with the voucher or with a debit card. We can also walk up to the device and we can log in now. We've got a PIN number. We do that. I type 4295, green check mark. It unlocks the device. I've got 3 print jobs waiting to be held. I have $1 in my account. I can click on that. It tells me, okay, that's good. If I did not have any funds in my account, when I log in, it would immediately prompt me then to add funds to my account. So from the panel of the device, they can use the voucher. I can't process a credit card payment from the panel of the device, but I can add a voucher. So it will pop up and say, you have no credit. Would you like to add funds to your account? So from the web interface, you can do the voucher input or credit or debit card. From the panel of the device, you can add a voucher number. So at this point, if I wanted to print these 3 jobs, we've estimated them to cost 65 cents. Well, that's within my $1. I could click my jobs and I can see the jobs that I have held and waiting and their respective values. 2 cent, 42 cent, 21 cent. If I want to look at that job, you know, I don't remember what that was. We can do an on-screen preview. See a little thumbnail of the job. This is sent in monochrome. That's why it's a cheap job. I could add additional copies. I sent one because I emailed it, but I actually need 3 copies. So before I release the job, I can change that, and you see how now my dollar value incremented. It's up to 6 cents now. 2 cents a page. 2 pages, monochrome. Yep, that's right. So that's the credit feature. I'm not really going to go into the other options here on the panel today. We've talked about those in other webinars, or we'll talk about the others in a future webinar. I do want to show you though, so obviously Robbie Morris was an external user in this instance. If I log out, I'm going to log in as John. John works for the Library of Congress. So I'm going to type in his PIN number, 4321. We're going to log in as John. Now we see a couple of things, actually. We changed the language to Spanish. If you've got users who are in a multilingual type environment, another feature of MyQ can switch the language on the fly for them. But now we see John. If I click on his name, it doesn't tell us anything about credit. John is excluded from that because it only applies to our external users. So how does all this work in the back end? Let me log out as me, Robbie, the user. I'm going to log in as the administrator of MyQ. We're going to go over to settings. We're going to come down to credit. And here I have a group called guest external users. So when folks send a job via email, I automatically make them a member of that group. From there, I've turned on the PayPal option. So we can see here the minimal amount, $1, or I could say, $2.50, $3, whatever. And then this is where you input your PayPal connection information so that when they click that button, it opens up the window. We've got CashNet. That's another one. SnapScan. This is not for the US marketplace. You'll see it's currency not supported. And then you got GP WebPay as well. Here on the voucher one, if I double click on it, you'll see that's where I created that code. So I did a numeric one in this case, representing zeros, but I could put alpha. And there's my customizable lines of text as well. The vouchers that we created, it's a feature called voucher batches. So I've got a couple here. Here's some that I created back in February that expire January, February, March, the end of March. 80% have been consumed. Here's mine from today, or yesterday. I created these last night. They're valid until 5/31. 5 available, 5 remaining. They've not been used. If I double click, it'll show me all those codes. So here it would tell me used on this date and time and which user redeemed it. So we can go back and see that information. When we set up these vouchers, I mentioned that these can expire. You see that they're valid till these date. Once a user has added funds to their account, the funds in their account do not expire. They will remain there in perpetuity. So the user can come back a year later, 2 years later, and still have the balance available on their account. That kind of ties back into the voucher situation. They may only need 37 cents to output their job today. Well, they're still going to have to buy a $1 voucher if they want to perform a cash transaction, a cash or coin transaction. But the benefit to the user, whether or not they see it from that perspective or not, is that the credit will remain there forever. So they're not buying it and then just discarding it per se during the transaction. That is pretty much everything I wanted to cover today for credit accounting. Let's go ahead and go over into our little review quiz. We're going to do our review quiz, and then we'll go in and we'll answer those questions you guys have. So let me stop this screen share. Let me bring up the quiz function. Let's see, I think I have it right here. Start sharing. All right. righty, test your knowledge. Top 3 contestants will have a donation made to a charitable organization of your choice. Some instructions here. On the next screen, when I advance to the next window, it's going to ask you to input your name. Please, please, please input your real first and last name. If you don't input your real first or last name and you're one of the winners, I can't contact you. We'll try, we'll do our best, but if we can't figure it out, we're going to go to the next person in the list. So put in your real first and last name. There'll be a button that says join quiz, and then you wait, you get ready. If you're watching this from your mobile phone, don't let your phone go to sleep. That's caught some people in the past. Okay. So it should be prompting you right now to input your name. I'm going to wait just 15, 20 seconds. Hopefully it doesn't take you longer than that to type in your name. More than likely, it's already got an autofill option there for you to put in your name. So we're going to do 5 questions today. The questions are going to be true, false, multiple choice. Read them carefully. I may have threw some curveballs at you. Okay, 51 ready to play. Here's question number 1 coming at you. MyQ can accept payments via credit, debit cards, and vouchers. Is that true or false? MyQ can accept payments via credit cards, debit cards, and vouchers. True or false? 5 seconds to respond. True. MyQ can accept payments both via credit, debit cards, and vouchers. All righty, moving on to the next question. Question number 2. MyQ does not allow you to set a minimum transaction amount for credit or debit cards. Is that true or false? Think about it carefully. MyQ does not allow you to set a minimum transaction amount for credit or debit cards. This was a little bit of a trick one. Ooh, you guys are sharp. I could not get one past you on that. Very nice. All right. Question 3. After question 3, we're going to see who our current leaders are, and then we'll have our final 2 questions. All right, here comes question 3. The unique code for vouchers cannot be customized. Another true or false? Let's see if all of you guys get this one. I tried to throw another curveball at you. I got a few of you on that one. The unique code for vouchers can be customized. That's where I can make it numeric or alphanumeric. I can put in hyphens, things like that if I want. All right, let's see who's in the lead right now. It's going to show us who answered that last question the quickest, and then who's accumulated the total points. The faster you answer, the more points you get. All right, up in the lead, Mr. Pat Hoffman, followed by Todd, followed by Tim Kurt. All right, let's get ready for the next question. 2 more to go. Voucher codes may be input into MyQ using, this is a multiple choice question. Can you do it only at the device panel, only in the web interface, or both at the device panel and in the web interface? A little bit of a tricky one here too. Oh, very good. Both at the device panel and in the web user interface. So vouchers can be input in both locations, but credit card, debit card cannot be input at the panel, only voucher at the panel. So a little bit of a tricky one there. All right, last question. We're going to see who our winners are. MyQ Credit expires after, another multiple choice here, expires after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or it does not expire. Touched on this at the very end. Let's see what we have. Oh, correct. It does not expire. Like I said, that's where a user if they purchase a $1 voucher, they use 37 cents a day, they're going to have that balance in perpetuity. So they can always come back. You don't have to worry about giving them a credit or reissuing them a balance or anything like that. So let's see who our top winners were. Again, this is going to show us the fastest on the last question and then our top 3. Mr. Pat Hoffman came in number 1, followed by Tim Kurd, followed by Lauren. Okay, very good. Thank you guys for participating. I'm going to stop the screen share. Once again, I'm going to look over in this Q&A window. I'm going to see what type of questions we have. Go ahead and get those in there so we can make sure to answer all of them for you. Which payment solutions are there in Germany in addition to PayPal? So we were looking at that on the screen. Let me reshare my screen so we can show you these answers as we go over them. You move. I hate the way Teams moves these things around when you share the screen. So I'll show you all the payment providers again that we have available. CashNet, PayPal, SnapScan, and GP WebPay are the 4 external payment providers that we're already set up with. Can we do a webinar like this to show how to set up PayPal option for payments? We can certainly do that as a one-off. If you want to reach out to us, we'd be happy to have a one-off conversation with you on that. Not a problem at all. All righty, got some new ones coming in here. Is $1 the lowest denomination that you can set a voucher for, or can you go as low as 1 cent? Yes. If I come over here to voucher batches and I say add, I want 10 vouchers and I can create them for a penny if we wish. So there we go. I now have 10 vouchers worth a penny, and there are the respective codes for all those vouchers worth a penny. So certainly you can do that. You can pick any denomination you wish. Let's see if we get any other questions coming in. I don't see any right now, but I'm going to give you a second. Not seeing any other questions coming in. I think we covered it very well, and we did it all within a half hour. So thank you guys for participating. For those of you that participated in the quiz, my VP, Mr. Victor, will be reaching out to you. He will send you an email to find out the charitable organization where you would like us to make a donation on your behalf. Look forward to next month, second Friday, every month, 11 a.m. Eastern, we host these series. Thank you for joining. Hope everyone has a great Friday and have a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you again soon.